training agenda. So first we have to start with SQL, then PLSQL basics, unit testing, data warehouse, Informatica unit testing, and then Unix. Finally, we are going to end up with projects. So first SQL. So SQL means we are not going to discuss each and everything from SQL. So whatever the knowledge is required to work in Informatica, so that SQL we are going to discuss here. Okay, so the basics of the SQL. So even though if you doesn't have any knowledge in SQL, so you can learn easily. Fine. So first of all, what is SQL? Why we need SQL? So SQL is a structured query language.
Hey, Holly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Omsi. Yes. Okay. So what is this SQL? Why we need SQL? Means SQL is a structured query language. Okay. So earlier, before this SQL and all, before this databases, people used to store the data in Excel, right? So in Excel, we can maintain the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay. So there in Excel, it would be difficult to maintain the data. So in Excel, in one tab, we can insert max 10 lakh records. So if you have more than that records, then it would be difficult to maintain. And also it would be difficult to update the specific records, or to delete the specific records, or to insert the specific records, or to insert the rows, or to modify the data in Excel. It would be difficult to maintain. So later people, they developed different types of databases. Now in market we have different types of databases like Oracle database, DB2 database, Sybase database. Like this, we have different types of databases in market, right? So from these, depends on the company, they will use different types of databases. So most of the company uses Oracle database. Okay, so that is the reason we have installed Oracle database in your system, and we are going to work with Oracle database. So once the Oracle software is installed, by default, one Oracle database will be created inside your system. So once the database is created, inside the database, we can create a number of table. In table, we can have, we can store the data in the form of rows and columns, right? So after installing the database, we can create a table inside the database. Okay, so while creating a table, we should have to give the name, like column names and the table name, so that table will be created. Once the table is created, we can insert the data into the table, right? So we can insert millions of rows in the table. So, and also, even though if you have millions of data in the table, it would be easy to identify the specific records from the table, and also it would be easy to update the specific records or to delete the specific records. Okay, so to do any type of operations on top of table, so it would be easy compare with Excel data, right? So in Excel, it would be difficult to maintain. That's why we have these databases and tables. So in table, we can maintain the millions of records, and it would be easy to modify the data if you have the data in a table, right? So after installing the Oracle software, as we know that Oracle database would be created in our system. Once the database is created, to create a table, right? After installing the database, we have to create the tables. To create a table, to insert the data into a table, to modify the data in a table, or to retrieve the data from a table, we need to have some query language. Okay, so that is, that query language we have as SQL, structured query language. With the help of structured query language, we can interact with the database to create the tables, to insert the data into a table, to update the data in a table, or to retrieve the data from a table, right? So with the help of SQL only, we can modify, or we can perform different types of operations on top of databases or on top of tables. If we do not have SQL, then it would be difficult to interact with the database, right? So structured query language is used to interact with the database to perform different types of operations on top of databases or tables. Clear? Now, what commands we have in SQL to perform these types of operations on top of tables or databases? In SQL, we have 5 types of languages. Again, in SQL, we have 5 types of languages. What are those 5 types of languages? We have DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, DCL. Like this, we have 5 types of languages in SQL, like DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, DRL, data retrieval language, TCL, transaction control language, DCL, data control language. Like this, we have 5 types of languages in SQL, and each and every type of language, we have different set of commands. In each and every type of language, we have different set of commands. Okay, with the help
Hey,
of
Ali,
those.
can you zoom out your screen, please?
Sorry?
Can you zoom out your screen? Because
Wait, you're not able to see or what?
yeah, I'm looking for tiny items like.
Now?
Yeah,
I
that
have
will be
increased the
helpful.
fonts.
Yeah.
Okay. So DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, DCL, like this, we have 5 types of languages in SQL to perform different types of operations on top of databases or tables. Okay. So parallelly, if it would be better if you maintain running notes. So whatever I'm discussing here, so you can also maintain the running notes and you can note it down. But sure, once we start Informatica, definitely you have to maintain the running notes. Whatever the examples I'm giving here, you should have to note it down in your notes, and you have to practice after the class. Fine. Now we will see what are the different commands we have in these 5 types of languages, which we use to perform different types of operations on top of tables. Starting with DDL. So data definition language. In data definition language, we have commands like this: create, alter, drop, truncate, and we have rename. So these are the commands we have in DDL, data definition language. Next, DML, data manipulation language. Here we have insert, update, and delete. Okay, so these are the commands we have in DML. Next, DRL, data retrieval language. Here we have only select command. Next, TCL, transaction control language. Commit, and we have rollback. Next, data control language. So here we have grant, and we have revoke. So these are the 5 types of languages we have in SQL. In these 5 types of languages, we have these commands. So you can say here we have commit, rollback, and a save point also there. So these are the commands we have. So with the help of these commands, we can perform different types of operations on top of database or a table, right? So we'll go through each and every command. What is create command? What we can do by using this create command? So in DDL, that is in data definition language, first we have create command. With the help of create command, we can create a table inside the database. So you can write a query like this: create table name employee. Okay, so within brackets you have to write the column name, employee number, and the data type. Okay, employee name, data type. So like this, you can write a query to create a table. Fine. Now where we have to write this query? Where we have to write the SQL query? In Toad. So since we have installed Toad, so you can execute this query in Toad tool or SQL developer or SQL plus. Right? Okay. So Toad tool, you can copy this query. So you have the execute button. Left side on top corner, you can see green play button. So if you click on that, So SQL query is going to be executed. So table is going to be created in the database. Fine. So this is the query to create a table. Right. So create table name, column names. You can write a number of column names here like this. And if you execute this query in Toad, like table will be created. Now, so here we have written
Okay, I
column
have a
names.
question.
Yes.
Like you said, there is a data type varchar2 for
Yes.
e-name. Why
Yeah.
don't we have a data type for number or sal number?
Yeah, that's what now we are going to discuss about the data types.
Okay.
Okay, so after table name we have column names here. So after column name we have data type. So for employee number we have the data type as a number. For employee name we have the data type as varchar2. For salary again we have a data type as number. So first of all, what is data type? Data type means which allows when what it tells what type of data it should have to allow. So if it is a number data type, then this column allows number type of data, which means employee number should be digits, right? Can we have an employee number like this, like characters, something like this? Can we have an employee number like this? No, this is invalid, right? Employee number should be something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Some digits will be there. So that means it's a number. So if you give the data type as a number, then this column allows only number type of data like this. Okay, and if you give the data type as varchar2, this column allows character type of data. So name can be like this, right? This is a character, right? So that's why we have given the varchar2. So we have different types of data types in character, like char data type, varchar2. But currently in new versions of Oracle, we are using varchar2. So whenever you have a requirement to create a column with a for character type of data, you have to give the data type as varchar2, right? For number type of data, you have to give the number. For character type of data, you have to give the data type name as varchar2. And the 10 represents size or precision. Precision means if you give 10 like this for employee name in the memory, it will allocate 10 character spaces. If you give employee name varchar2 of 10, that means inside the memory it will allocate 10 character spaces for the employee name. Okay, so if you give the employee name with 11 characters, it will not allow. It will take only 10 characters. 11th character of employee name it will not take, because we have allocated max 10 characters. In the same way, suppose let's say if you have date of birth column here, DOB. So for this, we can give the data type as date. So this will not allow numbers, and also this will not allow characters. So it should be a date. It should be in a date format. So if any column, if you want to insert a date, then you have to give the data type as date. Clear? So like this, we have different types of data types, but most of the types will be seeing number data type, varchar2 data type, and a date data type. These three data types you will be seeing in real time. And
So
also
for date,
yeah,
which format it will take? Like, it will take like slash or hyphen. So how do you mention that?
how whatever the format you insert. So while inserting, if you give as hyphen, so it will
Okay.
be taking as hyphen. So that we will discuss in functions what
Okay.
format we have to give. We are talking about data types now. So if you
Okay.
want to insert a date, then you have to give the data type as date. And also we have data type timestamp. So if you give timestamp, it will allow to insert date and time. Okay, so like this, we can execute this query to create a table. So once this query is executed, table will be created. Fine. So where we have to execute this query in SQL Developer or Toad tool, you can execute this query so that table will be created. Clear? So everyone knows about how to execute the query in Toad, right? Ravi, can you please share your screen? So actually in this system, I have not installed Oracle because this is company laptop. Okay, so later I try to use another laptop. Okay, open the Toad tool. Yes, so like this you can open Toad. Yeah, so now connect. So once you open it will ask you to give the username password. Yeah, click on connect. So once you connect, now it is connected to the database. Once it is connected, you can write a query here, select star from tab. So like if you are not sure writing the queries, so you can write the query like this, select star from tab, semicolon. Then now here left side you have green button to execute the query. Yes, so as soon as you execute below, you can see the output. It so like this you can execute the query in Toad and you can see the output like this. Clear? Next, so like this you can create a table. So after creating a table will be created. Next command we have alter. What is meant by alter? Any idea what is alter? What we can do by using alter command?
Change.
And change.
Change the data.
What we can change?
Can change the column name, data type.
Yeah, so by using alter command we can change the column name. Suppose let's say I have a table created like this, emp underscore yes, or employee table, employee number, employee name, salary. So I have a data like this. So I have a table like this with 3 columns. Now alter command when we use means if you want to change the column name. So now currently I have the column name as ENA. I want to change it to ENAME. So then we use alter command. Alter command is used to rename a column name. Next, what else we can do by using alter command? We can drop a column. Suppose now I have a salary column here. I don't want salary column. So I want to drop or delete this salary column from this table. Then we can use alter command to drop a column. Drop a column in the same way. If you want to add a new column, currently we don't have date of birth or we don't have address. So I want to add a new column to the table. Then also we can use alter command. Add a new column to the table. Next, we can also increase or decrease the precision of a column. Increase or decrease of precision means, suppose now currently varchar 2 of 10 I have given. I want to change the size. I want to increase this to 20 or I want to increase this size to 5. So how we can increase or decrease the precision of a column? So then we can use alter command. Increase or decrease. Increase or decrease of a precision of a column, right? So we can also use alter command to increase or decrease the precision of a column. Okay, now what are the queries for this? So what is the query to rename a column name? What is the query to drop an existing column? What is the query to add a new column? Right, so we'll see the queries. I'll also share the materials. Okay, so in these materials you can refer SQL material for the SQL queries. So you can see, okay, so here we have SQL PL SQL material. So I will share the link to download the materials folder. Okay, you just drop me a test email so that I will send you the link to download this materials folder. So in this materials folder, you have all the materials, right? So now you can see here, this is the SQL material. So here we have all the commands which we are talking now, right? So alter command. So we are talking about alter command. So in this material, you can find more number of examples. So using alter, you can see here alter command. First, we can use alter command to add a column, right? So alter table, table name, add new column. So this is the new column name and the data type. This is how you have to write a query to add a new column to the existing table, right? Removing a column. So after creating a table, now if you want to remove any column, then you have to execute this query. Alter table, table name, drop column, column name, right? So alter query we can use to remove the existing column also. So for that, we have to use alter statement like this: alter table, table name, drop column, column name. Next, as I told you, we can also use alter command to increase or decrease the precision of a column, right? Precision means the size. So increasing or decreasing the precision of a column. So alter table, table name, modify marks. This is the column name and the data type is this, and this is the precision. So currently if it is 10, now if you give the 5 like this, it will now allocate only 5 character spaces for these marks. Okay, in the same way, we can also use this alter command to mark the column as unused. So if you mark the column as unused, you cannot do any modifications on top of that column. But we never use this one. This is not required. Okay, you just practice these SQL queries to add a new column and to drop the existing column and to increase or decrease the precision of a column. Okay, so these things you can practice, and also we can use alter command to rename a column name, right? So alter table, table name. So you have to use rename keyword. So here we have rename keyword, right? In DDL, one of the command we have rename. So rename we use in alter command to rename a column name. So for that, you have to write a query like this: alter table, table name, rename column. This is the old column name and this is the new column name. So currently here, if you have ENA, I want to change it to ENAME. Then you have to write the query like this: alter table, table name, rename column, old column name to new column name. Got it? So like this, in these multiple areas, we use alter command to alter the table. Got it? Any questions regarding alter?
So only the command should it be in lowercase or uppercase?
Command should be
Should it be in lowercase or uppercase?
yeah, it is not case sensitive. SQL is not a
Okay.
case sensitive. You can write either in lowercase or uppercase. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
Next, right? Clear? Any other questions regarding alter? So you just send me a test email. I will send you the link to download these materials. Okay, so you can refer this SQL material and you can practice all these queries in your system. That's why I have asked you to install the Oracle first, Oracle and Toad, so that from day one you can practice these SQL queries. Fine. Next,
So
drop,
only one more
truncate, and
question.
rename. Yes,
So to use this first, do we have to create a table and then play with the table,
exactly. First, we have to create a table and insert the data in the table. Then you have to play by writing these queries.
okay, okay,
Okay. Whereas in real time, it is not our responsibility to create the tables. Already, these source targets will be there. So we are Informatica developers. We should have to create the Informatica mappings. But for practice purpose, you should have to know how to write the queries to create the tables, inserting the data, updating the data, modifying the data. So we have to write the we have to do all these things here in the training. Got it? Next. So next we have drop truncate. So this is very important question in interview from SQL. What is the difference between drop, truncate, and delete? Any idea?
Actually,
What is the difference between drop, truncate, and delete?
truncate
Yeah.
will delete the data,
Okay.
and delete will delete the entire table structure.
Delete will delete entire table structure. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Truncate will actually delete only the particular characters you want to delete. So the first few characters or the last few characters.
Okay.
And delete, if you want to delete the data, you can use it.
Okay.
Drop, you told earlier that we can use it to delete a column. Right?
Mm-hmm. Any idea? What is the difference between drop, truncate, and delete?
See, drop will actually will delete the table,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and
Truncate.
truncate, I think it will delete the content, not
Okay.
not the metadata.
Exactly. What about
Yeah,
delete?
delete. I think we use the delete to delete. We use the delete command to delete a particular record.
Okay, perfect. See here, drop command we use to drop the table. So if I execute this query, drop table name. This is the query to drop the table. If I execute this query, what will happen? It will drop whole table. Do we have employee table now? We don't have. So that means everything is gone. So drop table will drop whole table. Drop keyword we can also use in dropping the column. But if you use the query like this, drop table name, so this will delete whole table permanently. So drop table will drop whole table permanently. What about truncate? Truncate query we have tried like this. Truncate table name. This is the query for truncate. If you execute this query, what will happen? It will truncate whole table data, this data. So if you have 3 rows, so all the 3 rows gone. So these 3 records will be deleted permanently. But still the table structure is there. Structure means metadata or columns would be there. So truncate command is used to truncate the table data permanently. We cannot roll back or we cannot get back the data once we execute truncate command. Got it? So drop command will drop whole table permanently, whereas truncate command will truncate only table data permanently, but table structure will be there. How about delete? Delete command is used to delete the table data. So we can write a query like this: delete from employee. So you have to write the query like this for delete. So if you execute this delete query, this will also delete the table data, which means truncate also will delete the table data. Delete also is used to delete the table data. Then what is the difference between truncate and delete? Truncate command will delete the table data permanently, whereas delete command will delete the table data temporarily. It will not delete permanently. If you execute delete command, it will delete the table data temporarily, not permanently. Again, we have a command called rollback. Here in TCL, we have a command called rollback. If you execute this rollback command, whatever the data you have deleted by using the delete command, we can get back the data. Whereas if you execute truncate command, you cannot get back the data even though if you execute rollback command. Got it? That is one difference. The second difference is if you want to delete a specific row from this table. Now I don't want this to be 200 record from this table. I want to delete this specific record from this table. So to delete a specific record from a table, you have to use only delete command. Delete from employee, where employee number is equals to 2. Like this, you have to write a where class. If you write where class, then it will delete only the employee number to record. Clear? So you cannot write where in truncate. So that means you cannot use truncate command to delete the specific row from a table. So to delete the specific row from a table, you should have to use delete command. So how you have to use a delete query? Delete from table. So if you are not going to write this where class, if you are not going to write where class, then it will delete whole table data. If you don't want to delete whole table data, and if you want to delete the specific row from the table, then you have to write where class, where employee number is equals to 2, like this. Clear? So these are the differences between drop, truncate, and delete. This is one of the important interview question from SQL. So for Informatica developers, they will be asking from questions from SQL, PLSQL data warehouse also, not only from Informatica. So these are the basics for Informatica. Got it? Okay, next. Coming to, like in DDL, we have discussed about create, alter, drop, truncate, and rename. Next, coming to DML. DML means data manipulation language. To manipulate the data, manipulate means to insert or update or delete. So if you perform these operations on top of table, we can call it as a data manipulation. To manipulate the data, we have insert, update, and delete. So after creating a table, that means after executing this command, table will be created. After table is created, now if you want to insert the data into a table, how you are going to insert? So if you want to insert the data, then you have to write a query, insert query you have to write. So you have to write the query like this: insert into table name employee values. Within open and close brackets, you have to write the values. Employee number 1, employee name. Within single quotes, you have to write like this: Ali. Okay, and then salary like this. Then date of birth, date, you have to use like this, 2_date. So insert into table name values, 2_date, you have to write the date format. Okay, so like this. So some date 1894 or something like this you can write. And the date format. So as you asked earlier, whether we have to give hyphen or slash, how it takes. So whatever the format you give here, so that format it will take. So here you have to give.
If it is time for timestamp, then how to pass the time value?
Yeah, so for timestamp also you have to write seconds, HH, MM, SS, like that, colon you have to give. So this is how you have to execute your insert statement. So insert into table name values. If it is a number, you should have to directly write the number. If it is a character type of data, you have to write in a single quotes like this. Again, salary is a number, you can write the number. If it is a date, you have to write 2_date function. Again, we'll discuss in detail about this 2_date function. For the time being, I'm showing you how to insert a date into a date column. So whenever you have a requirement to insert any date into a date column, you should have to write 2_date function, and within single quotes you have to write the date and then the format. First 2 digits represents this one. Now first 2 digits represents date. I'm sorry, month. So here MM means it's month, DD means date, YYY means year. So now it will insert this date into the date column. This is how we can execute the insert statement. So for more number of example, you can refer this material. So you can have insert like this. Okay. So you can have different insert statements. This is merge statement. So like this, you can write an insert statement to insert the data into the table. Next, update. So once you insert the data in a table, so if you want to do any update, suppose let's say I want to update this salary 200 to 300. I want to add 100 to this current salary for employee number 2. Then you can write the update statement. Update table name emp set salary is equals to, currently he has 200. For this 200, I want to add 100. You can write salary plus 100. Update employee is set salary is equals to salary plus 100. Now can you tell me how many records this will update, this will execute the update statement? All, right? For all the 3 records, it will add 100 to their current salary. If you don't want to do for all, then you have to write where employee number is equals to 2. So if you write like this, then for only employee number 2 record, it will add 100. Got it? That is update statement. Update will update the table data. So if you are not going to write where class, then it will update whole table. If you write where class, then it will update only that specific record. Got it? That is update. Next, coming to delete. So delete we have discussed. What is the use of delete? So delete is used to delete the table data temporarily. Again, by using delete command, again by using rollback command, we can get back the data. Fine. And also by using delete, we can delete the specific rows from a table. That is delete. Next, select. So after inserting the data into a table, now I want to see how many records I have inserted. I want to see how many records I have inserted. Then you have to write the select statement. Select star from employee. This is the query. So if you execute this query, so this will display all the records from the table. So here I have written star. Star represents all the columns from a table. If you have 10 columns, it will display all the 10 columns. If you have 100 columns, it will display all the 100 columns from this table. Now I don't want to display all the columns. I want to display the specific column. Then you have to write the column names, employee number, employee name, like this. So then it will display only those 2 columns. If you write star, it will display all the columns from the table. If you don't want to display all the columns, and if you want to display the specific columns, then you have to write specific column names, employee number and employee name. Got it? That is select. So select statement is in DRL, data retrieval language. So by using this select, we can select the data from a table. Here. Next, commit. Transaction control language. So transaction control language is, in transaction control language we have 3 commands: commit, rollback and save point. What is the use of commit? Commit is very important command, because so after inserting the data, or after updating the data, or after deleting the data from a table, it is mandatory to execute commit. If you are not going to execute the commit after insert statement, or after update statement, or after delete statement, data will not be saved permanently in your table. Suppose let's say I have created this table, and after creating a table, I have inserted first record, second record, third record. Like this, I have inserted 3 rows. Okay, so after inserting 3 rows without executing the commit, if I close the window, again after reopening, again if I execute the query to see how many records are there in this table, it is going to display 0 records, because for these records you have inserted but you have not committed. You have not executed the commit. So if you have not executed the commit, how it is going to save these 3 records permanently in your table? right? So after after inserting these three records, that means after executing three insert statements, you have to execute commit. Just you have to write commit semicolon execute this statement, so that it is going to display message commit executed. So once the commit is executed, these three records will be saved permanently in the table. Next, coming to rollback command. Suppose let's say after inserting 1, 2, 3 records, I have executed the commit. Then I have inserted fourth record and fifth record. Okay, 2 records I have inserted. After inserting 2 records, assume these 2 are incorrect records or invalid data I have inserted. Now I have to delete these 2 records. Then what you have to do? You have to simply execute rollback. Rollback means undo, right? In our system we have undo, right? In the same way, rollback command will be working same as undo command. So if you execute rollback, now tell me how many records it will be rollback. Fourth and fifth records will be rollback, because the rollback command will execute, it will delete the records till previous commit. Okay, so rollback command will delete the records till previous commit. So these 2 records will be rollbacked. Clear? So rollback is undo till last commit. That is rollback. Suppose now next we have save point. So save point is nothing but a temporary save, not permanent save. To do the permanent save, we have to execute the commit. For temporary save, we have a save point. Suppose now I have inserted 1, 2, 3 records. Then I have executed commit. After executing the commit, I have inserted fourth and fifth record. After inserting fourth and fifth record, here I have executed save point. Right? So that means temporarily I have saved fourth and fifth record. After fourth and fifth record, now I have inserted sixth record in the same table. After inserting the sixth record, now I have executed rollback. What will happen? How many records will be there if I execute the rollback? If I write a query to see how many records are there after rollback, how many records it will display? Any idea?
5.
5, right?
One, maybe one.
No, 5 records. Right? Till here it will display. Rollback command, what it will do, as I told you earlier, it will roll back the data till previous commit. It will delete all the records till previous commit. What is rollback? Rollback will roll back the data or delete the data till previous commit. But in between, if you have save point, this is also a type of commit. Right? Not permanent commit. This is a temporary commit, but it's a commit. Right? So that's the reason rollback command will roll back the data till previous save point if you have save point. If you do not have save point, then it will search for commit. So if either of these 2 are there, so it will roll back the data till save point or a commit. Whatever it founds. If it founds save point, then it will roll back the data till save point. If it founds commit, till commit it will roll back the data. That means it will delete the data. So now if you execute a query to see how many records are there, so it will display 5 records. Got it?
So you meant to say there is no difference between commit and save point?
Sorry? If there is no commit, if there is no save point and if there is no commit, then so if you after inserting 6th record, all these 6 records will be rolled back. Nothing will be there.
No. What I mean to say is there any difference between commit and rollback?
Yeah, commit is to save the data permanently. Rollback is for to undo the data. Undo means by mistake if you have inserted any record after commit, if you want to delete.
I'm asking the difference between commit and save point.
Yeah. So earlier you said commit and rollback. Okay.
So
commit and save point. Okay, commit and save point means now let's say I have inserted 3 records and then I have executed commit. So these 3 records will be saved permanently. Next, 4th and 5th I have inserted, then I have executed save point. So that means currently I have 5 records. After 5th record I have executed save point. Now if I close the window, Toad window or SQL plus whatever I have closed. That means I have closed the session. So after closing the section, again after 1 minute, I have opened the tool window, I have connected to the database, and now I want to see how many records are there in this table. If I execute a query to see how many records are there in this table, can you tell me how many records will be there?
You get 3.
3 only. Why?
It's a temporary save, right? Save point.
Yeah, save point. It will be save the data temporarily till you end the session or till you close that window. Right? Without executing the commit, if you close that session, these 2 records will be rolled back automatically, 4 and 5. Got it? So that is the difference between commit and save point. So if you, after executing the save point, now if you want to close the window or close the session, before you close, to save 4th and 5th record permanently, you have to execute the commit and then you have to close. Without executing commit, only after you have executed only save point and you have not executed the commit, and if you close the session, these 2 records, 4th and 5th record, will be rolled back automatically because you are ending the session. So save point will save that data till you end the session or till you end your window. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell me the use case of save point when you are developing the project? Like any live scenarios, where to use save point and when to use?
Save point currently we never use in Informatica. We use only commit and rollbacks. So save point. So by mistake, something if you think that any incorrect records you have inserted after 5. Okay, so after 5, if you have inserted any incorrect record, and then you want to execute a rollback. Okay, so if you do not have save point, it will roll back 4th and 5th record also, but I don't want to roll back 5th, 4th and 5th. After 5, I have some incorrect record, which is 6th record is incorrect record. Then if you have executed the save point, you will be safe for 4th and 5th record. So it will roll back only 6th record, like this. So but we never use the save point in Informatica. We use only commit or rollback. Okay, we'll discuss again in Informatica class where we use this commit, how to use the commit, how many different types of commits also there. So loading some set of records or some area or some location or some specific range of records after loading, executing the commit. So we have different concepts in Informatica. So at that time we'll discuss in detail about again commit, not save point. So we are not going to use this save point. Save point is in SQL. Just for your understanding, I will explain what is the save point. Got it right? Any other questions regarding commit, rollback, and save point?
Yeah, one quick question here.
Yes, sir.
So, it's out of the context. One is this commit save point, these operations are only, limited to Oracle database or other databases too?
Exactly. So in other databases also we have these commits, commit rollback, but save point is not there in other database. So suppose let's say if you are using DB2 or Teradata, there also will have commit and rollback, but some different databases will have different commands. Okay, but SQL is the standard.
Okay. The second question is, usually when I do, execute like insert, usually I use tool and I still find the record were saved after I close the tool. It will still be there. So does the tool, when you use the push button, it will apply automatically the commits or?
Exactly. Yeah. So here in tool, whatever the tool you are using, like a Toad tool or SQL developer tool. So in that tool, in settings, if you have set auto commit enable, then even though if you are not going to execute the commit after inserting the data automatically, since you have set the auto commit before you close the window, automatically it will give the it will execute the commit at the back.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, but in real time, nowhere auto commit should be enabled, because after inserting the data, you have to verify before you commit. So that's why nowhere in real time should be auto commit enabled.
Okay.
Okay, so after inserting the data, manually you have to execute the commit. But since you are saying, even though after closing the window, my data still it is there, means auto commit has enabled in your tool.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Next, coming to DCL, data control language. In data control language, we have grant and revoke. So we have two commands here, grant and revoke. So these commands are executed by DBS, database administrator, separate team will be there. They are going to take care to execute this command, because once we join into the company, we should have to get the access to the database. To get the access, we have to raise the request to the DBA to grant the access. So once we raise the access to the DBA, once we raise the request to grant the access, then DBA, they are going to execute grant statement to grant the permissions. Okay, this like this: grant, select, insert on employee to Ali. So if they are going to execute the grant statement like this, for this user on top of this table, he can execute only these commands. I can select the data and I can insert the data. Okay, since they have not granted the update permission, so I cannot update the data, or I cannot delete the data, or I cannot modify, I cannot execute the alter statements. Right? So whatever the commands they write after grant, so this user will be having only these permissions on top of this table. That is grant. Grant is for to give the privileges to the user on top of the database or a table. Okay, DBS will execute these grant statements. Next, once the user left from the company, now we have to cancel his privileges. So for this, we have revoke command. So in place of grant, they will be executing revoke. So if you raise the request to the DBA to retrieve the privileges or to cancel the privileges, they are going to execute the revoke command. By using the revoke command, so all the privileges would be cancelled. Right? So these two are the commands which we have in DCL to grant the privileges and to retrieve the privileges. Clear? So these are the 5 types of languages in SQL we have to perform different types of operations on top of tables or a database. Fine. So today you can practice all these commands and see whether you are able to execute all these successfully or not. Right? So we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll discuss some other commands in SQL.
Yeah, one quick question again on the data type. Is varchar2. There is also varchar, right? What is the difference?
Yeah, that's what I have told you about varchar data type, what it will do. So in SQL, or we can say in Oracle, to insert the character type of data, we have char data type, varchar data type, varchar2 data type. So these 3 data types we have in SQL to insert character type of data. Okay, so either of these 3 data types you can use to insert the character type of data. But there is a difference between these 3 data types. What is the difference between char, varchar, and varchar2? Any idea?
So in varchar, if you specify varchar 10, so after you enter, let's say you are entering the name column, right? So if you enter the name column as a Kiran, it's a 5 letters, right? So it will enter 5 letters and it will also occupy the remaining 5 letter space.
Okay.
So in varchar 2, it will release the 5 characters, 5 letters.
Exactly. Yes. Suppose let's say suppose I have given char of 5, which means in memory it will allocate 5 character spaces, right? For name for that character. So 5 character spaces it will allocate in the memory. right? So after allocating 5 character spaces, now while inserting the data into the table, for this employee name or for this character, I have passed the values like this. Employee name I have given as ALI. So 3 characters I have given. So total 5 characters I have assigned for this employee name, but I have passed only 3. So remaining 2 characters still they are blank. Even though if you are not going to pass any values to those blank spaces or to those characters, it will be there in the memory. So that means it will occupy the memory even though if you are not going to give any values. It will consider that as a 5 characters name. Whereas if you give the data type as varchar of 5, if you give varchar as 5, first it will allocate 5 character spaces in the memory for employee name. Now if I pass only 3 characters, the remaining 2 characters it will simply ignore from the memory. It will release these 2 character spaces from the memory. So whatever the characters you have entered, it will occupy the space only for those characters. The remaining space it will release. So which means character data type will occupy the memory, whereas varchar data type will not occupy the memory. It will release the blank spaces. So whatever is required, that much only it will take. That is varchar. Coming to varchar 2. Varchar 2 data type is same as varchar. Okay, so first if you give the varchar 2 of 5, it will allocate 5 character spaces in the memory, and then if you give if you pass only 3 characters, then first it will it will load those 3 characters in the first 3 character spaces, and then the remaining 2 characters, if it is blank, then it will remove those 2 blank spaces from the memory. Okay, same as varchar. Then what is the difference between varchar and varchar 2? Varchar data type allows only character type of data, and varchar 2 data types allows both character type of data as well as number type of data. So if the data type is varchar 2, you can insert numbers as well as characters, both you can insert. And also the size, which by default varchar compare with varchar to varchar 2, varchar 2 size is more. Okay, so in the latest versions of Oracle, we have varchar 2 data type. So these are the differences between varchar and varchar 2. Clear? So that is the reason. So now, like in the latest versions, everywhere we can see varchar 2 data type instead of char and varchar.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Currently, we are not using character data type and varchar data type. We are using only varchar 2.
All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. So is there any way that can we check that memory space by using stored?
Means I didn't get you. How much memory it has taken or how much characters that data type?
Yeah. How much characters are this occupying?
Yeah. Okay. So can you please share your screen, Ravi? So we have we have F4. We have to press F4 in our keyboard. Okay. Suppose let's say if you have a table here, write a query select star from EMP.
Okay.
Can you write select star from EMP here? Star from EMP. So if you have employee table here,
okay.
And now can you place your cursor on EMP? No. Place your cursor on EMP. Now press F4 in your keyboard.
Okay.
Yes. Now EMP is there. You can see here in employee table how many columns are there, and what is the data type, how much type we have allocated for that column. You can see, right? Number 4, varchar 2 of 30 bytes, 9, right?
Yeah.
So like this, you can see the how much space we have allocated for each and every column.
No.
What is the data type?
No, my question is earlier you explained me, right? Like if you entered 3 characters,
Okay.
in allocated 5 varchar, so can we check in memory size, memory space, like whether it is released or still having 5 spaces?
No, that we are not sure. That I think we have to check with DBA.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is under DBS activity. So if you want to see how much space it has occupied and still how much space it is, like for that table, how much space we have allocated, and how much it is free, and how much it is like consumed. So to check these statistics and all, we have to consult to the DBA team.
Okay.
So they will be running the queries, or they will be from front-end application. They can get the statistics and they can give it to us.
Okay.
That's it.
And
Any
we
other
have
questions?
actually,
Yes.
my toad is saying that Oracle, no Oracle clients has not installed.
Okay. So have you installed Oracle database?
Yeah, yesterday we done, right?
Okay. Can you please share your screen?
Yeah. Can you make me a presenter?
Hey, thanks, Ali. I'm dropping off for this call for today.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
We're saying no clients installed.
So, okay. So which means no Oracle. Okay. Click on OK. Click on that ORCL. So have you given that manually?
I just
So,
typed
yeah,
it.
seems. Yeah, no, you should not type. Seems Oracle software has not installed. You have installed only Toad.
No,
Yes,
we already installed, right?
it's finished. No, if you have installed Oracle, then automatically SQL Net Editor, TNS Name Editor, so it will. You can see tick mark here. Those files are available. Okay, can you please go to the C drive or D drive? Can you show me where in which drive it has installed?
Yeah, 1 second. Yesterday you only drive me actually.
Yes, yeah, I remember. Oracle, open Oracle folder, product. Yes, open 10.2. No, hold on, go back. So, okay, seems go back. Yeah, it has not installed properly. Open 10.2. Okay, then DB1.
Okay.
Okay, so under DB1 here there should be many folders. You can see only inventory. So many folders are missing here. Around 20 to 30 folders should be there.
Okay.
Okay, which means Oracle has not installed properly. So we started installing. I'm not sure whether it has completed or not. So what message you got after successful of installation?
Yeah, actually, even successful install that successful message came actually. Then only we proceed to Toad right yesterday.
Okay.
So can we uninstall this one? Like,
yeah, we have to uninstall and install it again.